Good morning. Um, Today I'm going to talk a little bit about, well, we'll see where this goes, but I think I'm going to talk about just how I've been feeling about moving out of the country, like just what the progress is with that, where I'm at right now in terms of um, any headway that I've made and my headspace. So, lately, I have been, if you have followed any of my journey, like just the past few videos, you will know that I was planning on moving to Portugal with my family, and then decided to pivot to move to France. I mean, if they'll have me, I'm going to apply for the long stay visa. So, in short, Portugal kind of feels like an ex boyfriend. It feels like that guy that I wanted to be with so bad. And I just imagined the rest of my life with him. And it turns out he doesn't want me. So, um, I now have pivoted to potentially moving to France. If, like I said, if they'll have me, I'm going to apply for the visa. Hopefully, it'll get accepted. On paper, it seems like I qualify to move with my kids to France on a long stay visa, but we'll see. And so, in the meantime, I've been doing like a deep, deep, deep dive into YouTube videos, um, forums. I even joined a couple of Facebook groups, and I'm not on Facebook by any stretch. Like, I don't do Facebook. I've only joined it to like join groups to find out more information. So, from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing in videos, is that it is incredibly, incredibly difficult to find an apartment in France. And I don't know if this is just like in Paris and big cities, or if this is across the board. And I reached out to see, possibly about doing a consultation with someone to see if I could get assistance finding an apartment. And I mean, it's just so incredibly expensive. It looks like you need an agent to help you. You need a guarantor. You need health insurance, which I already knew, but I didn't know that I would necessarily need like an agent. I thought that was kind of like optional if you want it, but it seems like that's a must. And the guarantor part, I definitely didn't know about. So, it just seems incredibly expensive. And I just spent a lot of money getting help to move to Portugal, and it seems like that's not happening anymore. So I'm really trying to be conscious of the of my budget and what I have to spend. And um, if you've been following me, I am a stay-at-home mom and that I'm a homeschooler. So my husband is the one who works and makes the money. So I have to be really mindful of that when it feels like I'm just throwing his money, which is our money, but just throwing it in the trash when he's the one who is actually working for it. I do feel, you know, a bit of not so much guilt. It doesn't feel good. Like if it was money that I had earned and I'm kind of throwing it away, I might feel better about that, but I don't feel great knowing how hard he works. Like he works really, really hard. So I'm just trying to be mindful of that. But I started to get discouraged yesterday, and there was a point where I just felt like giving up. And I was looking into my husband's eyes at one point. I was like backing out of my driveway, and I just looked into his eyes. I didn't say anything, but I was thinking it, and I was like, what if I just gave it all up? And I'm like, is it so bad living in the States? Could I deal with it for the rest of my life? Or could I deal with it if I waited until my kids all finished high school? Because it would be much easier at that point. I wouldn't have to figure out, what to do with schooling and all of that. It would just be a lot simpler, but more complicated for me in terms of how I'm feeling about being in the US, and how long I've wanted to leave. So I don't know that I could remain my sanity and stay here. I don't think that I would be able to wait that long and be a very sane person, at least not living the way that I live. I don't feel like I have community where I live, and I just feel like I'm alone all the time. So if I were to remain here, I would have to go to another city, and we would still, be apart. So if we're going to be apart because my husband has to work in LA and I want to live somewhere else, then I might as well just move out of the country, because it's going to be a struggle either way. But back to my experience with now transitioning to France. So, like I said, I'm deep diving in all the videos, and I watched one lady's video yesterday and I just felt so discouraged. She was saying, like, all the things that she had to do to move to find an apartment, and like how you can get scammed, and how your rent, like even if you do find an apartment and you get an unfurnished apartment, which it seems like more people want to get an unfurnished apartment. I mean, get a furnished apartment. Seems like more people want to get furnished apartments because you can, for one, they're furnished, but two, you can get out of your lease. Like, you just need a 30-day notice. And if you have an unfurnished apartment, it's like a 3-year contract. And if you get into a 3-year contract and you don't know what you're getting into, and you find out that you're in a place that's not habitable and there's mold and all that kind of thing, like, just, oh my God, so many things that I had not thought about. And I just started to spiral and I got scared. And I'm thinking, she said, even like when you get an unfurnished apartment, sometimes you have to bring your own cabinets and sink. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe this is just like so much more than I thought it was. And I'm thinking, like, oh my God, can I handle this? Like, and the cost to just like get someone to help you, and then to get a guarantor. I'm like, oh my God, this is so expensive. And I haven't even moved in yet. Like, the fees that you have to pay for someone to do the search for you, the consultation fee, plus the fee that they take, I guess, like, you have to pay, like, whatever you pay for your apartment, you pay like your equivalent of first month's rent to this company, as well as the search fee and the consultation fee. And I'm just like, oh my God, it's like I've spent more than rent probably for the first 2 months, like just trying to get somebody to help me. And so that just is really discouraging. And the lady was saying too, like with the unfurnished apartment, how there's some things in the law where you're not supposed to be able to like raise the price and whatnot, but people do it anyway and it goes unchecked. And I'm like, so she was saying, like, people can raise the rent like significantly and you can't do anything about it. And I'm like, for me, I'm definitely going to be on a fixed amount. And I also have children to think about. So if I were in a situation where I was renting a place, and then after, I guess, a year, the rent just skyrocketed and I had to move, like, what does that look like for me? I actually am trying to choose my location based on international schools, because I have a high schooler who doesn't speak the language, and I'm going to need to find a school where he can speak English so that he can get by. Obviously, he's going to learn the language, and I will put him in language classes and all that, but you can't just start high school not knowing the language. That would be incredibly difficult. So I'm trying to find a location where I can find an affordable international school, because some of these schools go up to like 20, 30 something thousand. Like, that's not in my price range. So I'm trying to find a place where I can find, like, if they have something on the much lower end of that. And so that doesn't leave me with a whole lot of options. And it doesn't leave me with a lot of choice in terms of like, oh, well, where do I want to live? It's like, okay, where can I afford, and which can I see myself in the most? Not necessarily like, where's the top place that I want to move? That's not how I get to choose a location. So, I mean, I would say the past couple of days have just been very discouraging. And last night I felt like giving up. I just remember looking into my husband's eyes, and I didn't say to him, but I was just thinking it, like, what if we just gave it up? Like, what if I mean, it would be simpler for him. I know he wants to get out too, but in a way he's tied here because his work is here. So he would just be traveling back and forth. but I know that it's going to cause a lot of discomfort and pain for our family until we can all be in the same place at one time. So I was just thinking, oh, what if I just stopped? What if I just gave up? And sometimes when things get hard, you just want to give up because it just seems like it's so much easier to quit. And I knew that this was not going to be easy. I just didn't know that it was going to be this difficult. So I'm just struggling with that, and it's affecting my mental health. I'm not doing the things that I should be doing when I get up, as it should be. The things that I like to do, that I enjoy doing, that I get to do in the morning, like meditation, journaling, writing 3 gratitudes. I'm starting my day with a search on how to move, or what someone else's experience is, looking at YouTube videos. And that is not how I like to start my day. And I've chosen to do it that way for some reason. And I have to make a shift. This morning, I did do a quick meditation. And just a reminder, like, you've got to do these things to take care of yourself. You have to put your self-care first. It becomes really difficult for me to practice that when I feel like I am in like sort of a struggle mode or desperation. It's like I need to go back and default on my patterns. And this is what I've been talking about doing. And I had kind of done a reset, but then started deep diving again. And now everything is out of alignment again. So I've got to get myself back in there. I've got to practice my meditation, do my journaling, and do all of that. And just focus on me, go for my walks. I'm having a really hard time with that. When my brain is just hyper focused on one thing, it's very hard for me to go to another task. And my brain right now is just in the mode where it's trying to figure things out. And it's just like, it doesn't want to do anything else except solve this problem. So I guess that's all that I have to say today. And if you are planning a move, or if you've moved to France, you have any pointers for me, please leave them in the comments below, because I need some encouragement right now. But thank you for watching. Have a good day. I'll talk to you guys later. Ciao.